Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to what has become one of my favorite places to do a video, and that is Admiral Perry Park here in Crescent, PA, which is pretty much right across the street from where I live and all that stuff. And I know you guys have been waiting to hear the next part of the story about me and Sarah and how we got together and all that stuff. So well, your wait is over, because the next part in the story is right now. So the Wojciech experience, it starts right now. Welcome back to another video of the Wojciech experience, where idiots are still always us, always me. And you know, I'm always going to be an idiot on the internet because that's what I do, and that's just who I am. I'm just a glorified idiot on the internet. That's all it is. But anyway, I hope you're all doing good and everything. And you know, I know you guys have been enjoying the other parts to the story and everything, so thought that I would, you know, take the time and get you guys caught up on the next part, which is pretty much planning our wedding for the most part. As I said in previous videos, you know, Sarah tried to get with me for the longest time. I turned down multiple times. I turned her down and everything until finally, I guess I relented or something, I don't know, but you know, after a while I finally said, yeah, let's go for it. And within like a month and a half, we were engaged and all that good stuff. So, but while in the midst of all of that, I was still technically still married to my first wife, and I was just waiting for her to pretty much divorced me, you know, and so while I was waiting for that, you know, me and Sarah were engaged, and also we started planning our wedding, which is sometimes can be kind of weird to be there planning your wedding while you're still married to somebody else, but but then again, you guys know the story. You know how bad that situation was and how I was treated and how all that went down. So so even though I was technically married legally and on paper, I didn't feel I was married, you know, at all in my heart and everything else. So, but anyhow, so yeah, not long after me and Sarah got engaged, we started planning our wedding, and boy, did that take a lot of planning, a lot of back and forth, and, you know, every so often we'd have a little argument about a few things, you know. But, you know, it's all part of the experience, I guess. And so anyhow, while we were planning the wedding and everything, you know, for the most part, a lot of the stuff that we did, as in for planning, as in like, you know, the invitations and stuff like that, we pretty much made the invitations ourselves. We got on the computer, we made them ourselves, we bought a lot of card stock, we printed like a bazillion of them out and everything, you know. So we went through that whole entire process, you know, for the invitations and stuff. We got them all sent out ourselves, you know, all that stuff. And then, of course, with some of the other stuff, like some of the decorations, me and her went to Hobby Lobby, and we pretty much bought what we needed for her to make her own bouquet. That was interesting. I've been to Hobby Lobby, and I've, bought and handled, artificial flowers before, but I never participated in helping anybody create their own bouquet. So that was quite interesting. I learned some craft stuff there, because that's one thing about Sara. She was very crafty. She loved to do craft stuff. So yeah, she made her own bouquet, not only for herself, but she made all the little bouquets for all her bridesmaids and everything else. And she also made the little, the flowers, the things that, the guys in the wedding party were going to wear, and all that stuff on their coats or whatever, their shirts. So yeah, she did all that too. I helped her as much as I can with that, and of course at the same time planning a wedding, I'm also working and stuff like that, so when I was able to, I was at her house or she was at my house, and we were going through the thing, putting things together. So that was a fun experience. And of course, while all this was going on too, we also went to premarital counseling with her pastor at the church that she went to. That was really interesting because, whenever I married the first time, when I married Jessica, that was something that I never did. I never went through premarital counseling or anything like that. I don't know if that would have helped any, if we went to premarital counseling with her, but especially considering how she was and how she treated me and how she treated others and, all that kind of thing. But anyhow, yeah, we went to, a lot of premarital counseling, which was interesting. I learned a lot, and everything. And, of course, she learned a lot too, because she was never married before, And in a way, with, even though I was already married anyways, it was new for me because I'd never done that before. So that was fun. And of course, going to premarital counseling, that brought out, a few arguments here and there and a few disagreements, because, you're also learning about each other and, and all that stuff. But it wasn't, the arguments and stuff. Every couple goes through all that. Everybody has arguments and disagreements from time to time. And there's one thing about me and Sara. Anytime we had a disagreement or an argument, we never yelled at each other. We never raised our voices at each other. Yes, would be upset. A lot of times it'd be crying, tears, that kind of thing. But we never, ever rose our voice to each other. And we always, worked things out within a few hours, and all that stuff. So, and I know there's also couples out there, they get into arguments and stuff, and they get into shouting matches and stuff, but we just never did that. So, but, and then of course, once, the divorce was finally finalized and I got that divorce decree, and everything, she was over the moon, that finally I was divorced. Finally, we could set a date and everything, and which we did. So that was, fun trying to pick what day we wanted all this to happen, and and then of course her sister and her sister's friend helped us a lot with planning some of the logistics and some of the other stuff, And the one thing that about Sara too is that she had her wedding dress picked out years and years and years before we even met. So she already had her wedding dress, and everything. And, and she was so excited to finally get to wear it and all that good stuff, She just had to get a couple of alterations on it, just a little bit, and all that stuff. And the other thing too is we planned on having the wedding at her church, and originally it was planned to be an outside wedding. But unfortunately, the day of the wedding, it was a really, really windy day, and she was like, "Nah, don't really want to do this outside," because the way the wind was blowing, she didn't want her hair to get blown everywhere, and all that stuff. So last minute we changed it to an inside wedding, which was also fine, for me. I didn't mind, but yeah. There were a few people that were a little bit disappointed that we didn't do it outside, but what can you do when it's windy and the weather doesn't cooperate? You got to do something. But we still had a nice wedding. We had it inside and everything. We had it at her church, and I can tell you, my heart was pounding. I was so nervous, especially the day before, and really nervous the day of, because I was afraid that I was going to trip and fall down in front of people, or something embarrassing to happen, and all that stuff. But of course, everything went without a hitch and everything, and it all worked out. But yeah, there was just there were some hiccups along the way, nothing that we couldn't handle, and all that stuff. And then of course, after the wedding, we got a hotel room, and we spent the night at a hotel. And then the next day we went on our little mini honeymoon, because of where I was working, because I was working at Dollar General at the time, and they weren't too keen on giving me a lot of time off for my honeymoon. As a matter of fact, they tried to call me into work the day before the wedding for the rehearsal. They tried to call me into work the day of the wedding, and they tried to call me in just about every day of the honeymoon. They were just trying to get me to come in and stuff. They're like, "Yeah, we know that you just got married. Yeah, we know that, this and that, but we need you to come in." And I'm like, no, I'm not coming in. And, of course, that kind of upset them a little bit. But you know what? I was having a good time. It was time for me to have my time, and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, then we went to New York for part of our honeymoon. The first day of our honeymoon, we went to Knoebels. And then after that, then we went to New York, because like I said in one of the other videos, that kind of became like kind of our little thing to do. So we went to New York and Times Square and all that stuff. We had some fun, out in New York, and did some stuff and hung around, and we generally had a good time, and all that stuff. And then of course, after that, it was back to reality, back to work and all that stuff. And of course, at the same time that all this was going on, I was also looking for us an apartment, a place to live and everything. So pretty much right after the honeymoon, we moved in together, like the next day after we got back from the honeymoon and everything, because I had everything all set up with the apartment. We moved most of our stuff in and everything. But we didn't live together until, the day of, or not the day of, but, the day after we got back from our honeymoon, which was just a couple of days after we got married and all that stuff. And of course, with all that happening, we began to live our lives, and unfortunately, I wish I could say happily ever after, because while we did live happily, and everything, for years after. But of course, as you know, especially if you've been following the channel for quite a while, you know that last year Sarah got sick and passed away. And, so kind of, wasn't exactly the ending to our story that I would have liked. You know what I mean? Like I was planning to spend, the rest of my life with her. I was planning to grow old with her, be somebody, be like 105 years old and still be married to her, and all that stuff. But unfortunately, God had other plans for her, and he called her home last year. But I mean, I still love her. I'm always gonna still love her, for that matter. And it's just something that just wasn't in the plan. But you just kind of have to roll with the punches, I guess, is the old saying. So yeah. Not sure, how this part of the story is going to resonate with you guys. Basically going through all that and with the wedding and, planning it, getting married, honeymoon, all that stuff. And then briefly touching, on the part that, she passed away. But, and like I said, this video series wasn't going to be as long as, this series with the ex-wife, mainly because there was just more stuff that needed to be said with the ex-wife and all that stuff. But even though, I'm ending this video, talking a little bit about how it ended with her passing away and everything, but I want to try to do at least one more part to the story. Just one more part, which I will do in the coming days or so, depending on how things go. Basically, to talk about her last few months that she was around, her time in the ICU and all that stuff. So even though, a lot of that's already been talked about in previous videos and everything on the channel, but I just thought I'd talk about it a little bit again, just to kind of end this series on that, which I know probably doesn't sound like a good ending, but, there's just some things that I want to say, but I'll wait till the next part to say it and stuff. So, but anyway, with that, I hope you enjoyed that little part of the story, the part of us getting married finally and planning the wedding and all that good stuff. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you get notified of future videos. And of course, if you want to support this dumb little channel of mine, hit that join button, become a member of the Idiot Squad, because we'd love to have you. And of course, you can also support the channel by clicking on the little, QR code that's going to pop up for Cash App. You can do that too if you'd like. You don't have to if you don't want to. And of course, you can also follow me on all the major social medias and try to go down these steps without killing myself. And of course, you can check out the merch store if you'd like, if you haven't done that yet. All those links are all down below and all that happy good stuff. So, but yeah, I hope you're all having a good day, good night, good week, whatever the case is when you're watching this video. I hope you're staying cool now that the weather is getting warmer and all that stuff, and last week it was an unbelievable heat wave, but so far this week it's a lot more cooler, and everything. But anyways, yeah, I hope you're all good. Hope you're all keeping cool and all that stuff. And yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna get going. I'm getting hungry. I was out spark driving all day, but I'm getting hungry and it's starting to get late in the evening and all that stuff. So I will see y'all in the next one. And of course, until then, as always, bye for now.